So I just wanted to speak about a particular experience that I went through that might help you, if you resonate with it, or if you see the world the same way as I did in this part of the pathless path. But it's the particular point where you've seen the rest of the world. There's nothing out there that's going to make someone happy. No matter how much money, jobs, relationships, success, achievement, everything out there, as much as it can be part of the game, is not bringing complete fulfillment. So then you go within and you sit, you listen to spiritual teachers, non-duality teachers, meditation, gurus, whatever. And it's very clear that there's something that can be looked into, or at least sat with or inquired into. At least at this stage, you can almost feel like you're doing something. Even though this is all spontaneous and there's no one here, there's still a sense that you can look into this, and the character does. The character inspects its relationship to the rest of the universe, itself, its fundamental nature. And we get to the stage where it's okay, so the world is not the problem, it's also not the solution. But there's something here that can be looked into and investigated. And even though this gives way to a complete surrender, letting go of the raft completely into nothing, there is a moment where we see this. We're looking out and then we look within. Now this is very subtle, but this last thing, enlightenment, freedom, is still objectified in the mind. It's still put out there. It's gone like, right, money's obviously not it, all these things are not it, but enlightenment, I can still put it on an object, a pedestal, because it's more socially acceptable, or it sits better with me if I'm chasing enlightenment, chasing this. And that's the biggest joke of all, that no matter how socially acceptable it is to, or even acceptable with yourself, to be pursuing truth, this heroic journey that you put yourself on. I am denouncing the world and all its capitalism and all its greed and everything, and we say it's all the problems are out there, and I'm gonna wake up myself. But if you're authentic enough and you're honest enough with yourself and where you are and who you are and everything that's in this moment, you may come to the conclusion that even that is part of the illusion. Enlightenment is the illusion. And I can sit here as some sort of person on your screen and almost play the role of, here's enlightenment, you have to look into this, you have to inquire into this. But really what I'm doing is putting it for you, if you're not willing to see that enlightenment is a complete illusion as well, is to almost get you to the point where you can see that. Do self-inquiry, do emotional work, and these things are all good for foundation, but eventually you have to see there is no finish line. And this is what I wanted to talk about finally, the no finish line that the ego thinks there is. Enlightenment to the ego mind, to the mind, is a finish line, a sense of, I'm here. And then there's no more suffering. That's what it feels. There's no more personal suffering, but this is the start of endless, whatever this is. It's like falling with no ground. It's complete free fall. There's never a definition in sight. There's never a sense of grasping to self, other, concepts. It's the end of concepts. Enlightenment is a mystery. If you want to even call enlightenment something, it's just, I don't know what this is. I can't find myself anywhere. It's just pure, formless. No one here to experience, no one here to say anything. It's the end of practices, the end of any kind of finish line. And then finally, the seeking energy, which is looking for a finish line, can be allowed as well. Seeking energy, which needs this secure, controlled place where you are still yourself, but I'm an enlightened self. I'm a happy, enlightened person. That is the ego's view of liberation. But liberation is the complete letting go of any control, any sense of achievement, any sense of finish line, a cosmic kind of end point where you can now walk along the street in your life, go to work with your family and be so blissed out and liberated that you don't even know who you are. And that's not it. That is just not it. That is just ego thought. But the good news is that that can be seen through and eventually move to a place of pure mystery. And in this groundless free fall is liberation. Because liberation is movement. It's stillness in motion. It's constant change. It's that which never changes as well. The paradox of the ego just wants a concrete thing to grasp. But this is ungraspable, ingraspable, whatever the word is. And it's beautiful in its non-linearity, its lacking of concepts, its lacking of self. But the self doesn't like this. The mind wants this and that in order. It wants peace now as a gift, as an object. But you can actually move into a place of not needing to know, not needing to find answers, not needing this liberation. And finally, liberation gets let go of. And the paradox is, the moment you don't need enlightenment, the moment you don't need peace or liberation, it's just there. Or it's seen to already be here. And the seeking stops. Because you're not seeking anything outside of yourself anymore. Seeking is seen to be so painful that why seek? The stiller you become metaphorically, no matter how much you move in the world, the stillness is where the peace is seen. This is a ramble, this one, but I don't care because it touches on a really important subject, in my opinion, that there's no finish line. And that's freedom. Because the mind will always either be seeking this perfect state otherwise, but form is never perfect. Form, selves, others will always be a game of judgment, but who's there to judge when there's no one left? Move into mystery, move into formless, or just stay where you are and it will appear to you. Don't need an answer, don't need a way out, because all answers belong to the definitions of mind, the definitions, the concepts, the black and white. Truth is in colour. The mind can only see in black and white. Look for colour, don't look for yeses and nos, look for the spectrum. Peace is general, it's not specific. It takes a bit of courage to not need an answer, but then you move with life. You move with love, with emptiness, with mystery. It gets too boring, black and white, concepts, definites. Have you ever watched a football game or a basketball game when you knew the outcome? No one's ever had fun doing that. No one's ever been at peace with that. Peace is being okay with the mind's movement, the unexpected nature of reality. Reality is completely and utterly indescribable. You can't put it in a box. But the mind wants boxes and it wants liberation to be there, handed on a plate after a certain amount of practices or this and that. But you have to learn to go beyond the finish line. And beyond the finish line is total freefall. And enlightenment is a realization there's no ground. That is freedom, to me. I hope that helps.